Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the monthly dividend and options income for the month of January of 2025. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, so we're going to start out here with M1 Finance. We're going to basically blast through this real quick. So we got 4 cents on PFLT. Going down the list here, or up the list in this case. PDI 25.92, Walmart 2 cents, Nvidia 32.04. RYLD, we have 23 cents and 863, MPW 40 cents, and again 272. ACP 2388, PM, basically a penny. Horizon here, we got 45 cents, eventually going to add back to that. Leggett and Platt 63 cents, Appley's 61 cents, PSEC 1 cent, RA $7.62, ORX 617. Tesla 54 cents, $196.46. GSBD, which is a quarterly paying dividend. I believe it's a business development company, BDC. So $20.45 on that one. USOI 506. And then we have EFC 13 cents, RYLD 554 and 336, and again 5 cents. TWO, this is also a quarterly one, 16.10. ACP 2388, BSTZ 4 cents, 43 cents from SFAL, 13 cents from OPP, 29.58 from NVDY, CLM 32 cents, 12 cents from CRF, 34 cents from CRF, 90 cents from CLM, 4 cents again from PFLT. Or sorry, scratch that. We'll cut it at PFLT. So again, this is just for the month of January. This video is actually coming out quite late, but we did want to cover it nonetheless. So total dividends earned for last month was $412.21. So in short, we will be adding more money to this account at some point in the future. Just not sure when it's going to be, maybe within the next month or two. It also kind of depends on how the crypto bull run goes. We'll talk about crypto here in a minute, but and again, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think we're just experiencing a pullback in time right now. And the last 4 times that we've gotten one of these, it has ultimately led at some point to more upsides. So it's just a question of when we're going to get the alt season. But yeah, that's a separate video entirely. So I'm not going to get too deep into that here. Okay, so the only one here on Webull, and we do still have the position, is ORX. So $27.70 from that for the month of January. So you can see we still have the position here. It's all the way up here at 1518. Don't really plan on adding any more to this. I mean, look, the synopsis here is pretty simple. When the Fed cuts rates, the markets are going to absolutely rocket to the upside. Once they come out and say that they're going to cut rates again, especially if they go back to quantitative easing, if they say something like that, like, oh yeah, we're going to start printing money again, guys, we're going to do QE. Yeah, I would not be shocked if the markets just absolutely exploded up, like just stupidly, especially on the first day. So anyways, Robinhood, we're going to go over this one. So SPYT, $8.28, QDTE, $33.54, YMAX, $49.23, NVDY, $229.69, YMAG, $75, and MRNY, $25.09, GPIC, $3.86, GPIX 35 cents, YMAG 38.15, QDTE 20.54, Coney 337.68, YMAX again $38, YMAX yet again $30.46, YMAG 12.09, QDTE 37.82, ORC 27.57, YBIT, that's the Bitcoin option income ETF with yield max, that's 86.94. TSLY 2085, YMAX 4686, YMAG 2422, QDTE 2765, FEPI 11376. I still can't get over that name. I don't know why it sounds so funny, FEPI. Those of you guys that have had this ETF for a while, you probably know what I'm talking about, but it just sounds kind of ridiculous when you say it. Leave me a comment in the comments below if you think it's funny too. So, NVDY 21207, YMAX 4002, MRNY 2732, YMAG 4589, and lastly QDTE 2113. So the total dividends here comes out to 1,634.06. There is the cash secured put on CLSK. You guys already know that we basically did that. Like pretty much with CLSK, because the earnings were so good, we're actually expecting the price to go up. So this is more so just to collect premium. We're not actually expecting to get assigned on this, but we'll see how this week goes. So let's go ahead and go through some of these real quick. So one of the buys that we've been focused on heavily this last month is SPYT, because as you guys know, the markets have been underperforming a little bit and a little bit choppy, and that is the best time to pick some of these dividend ETFs up on the cheap. Because basically the historical performance of SPYT is it usually sits around that $20 area, but as of lately, the market has been underperforming, but usually when it goes back up, it does very well. So even if we only made $1 per share in profit on this position times 92 shares, it's still going to come out to $92 in profit. So we have been adding, but anyways, so we're going to show you guys the different buys and also the dividends here. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so you got buy here, buy here. Here's the dividend, buy, buy, buy. Another buy, more buys, more buys, more buys, more buys, more buys. Just keep on buying, right? That's kind of the thesis is we want to buy when it's cheap. So buy, 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 buy. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on this video because I don't have a lot of time right now. So there was another dividend this month as well, a larger one because we added more on the cheap. So, and again, more buys. Okay, so going down the list a little bit further here, we're going to go to QTTE. This one's actually quite cheap, but I suspect when the NASDAQ does finally have a breakout, this thing's probably going to recover pretty nicely. So the price is cheap right now. I mean, you guys can do what you want to with that, but it does pay dividends. So I know there's there's a lot of people out there that will not buy anything in the markets unless they're cheap. So if you guys are looking for cheap prices, here they are. There's no guarantee it won't go lower, but at this point, I highly doubt the markets are going to go lower because, and again, I can't say that with certainty, but I mean, we've mainly just been chopping sideways. So the markets have done that before. It's just a pullback in time before an eventual breakout. I'm not too concerned about it. So you can see all the different dividends here for QDTE. Okay, so next one here, YMAX. And again, the reason why we're doing this is for full transparency, so you guys can see all the numbers, so you see all the different dividends here. Let's see, well, let's go to the next one. The next one here is NVIDIA, so I got to find that real quick. We'll talk about the actual trades that we're doing or that we're considering doing, what we're thinking about kind of towards the end of this video. So you see the dividends here, 2 for the month of January. I think that's because of the holidays, they kind of offset the X date and the payment date on these. So next one, YMAG. All right, so you can see all the different dividends right there on YMAG. Okay, so MRNY, this one has been absolutely horrible in terms of price performance. We're actually thinking about just getting rid of it. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't, but we got other things we got to take care of first, so we'll worry about that a little bit later. All right, so you can see the 2 different dividends here. Got just a few more to go over, so let's see. Next one here, GPIC. If you guys are looking to get some GPIC and GPICs on the cheap, then keep a lookout for when we post on X potential oversold signals or when the NASDAQ and the S&P look relatively cheap, and then that way you guys can potentially swoop in and get some of these shares on the cheap if you're looking for the passive income. These are some pretty high quality ETFs. And I'm not the only one that thinks so. So $3.86 here. I think the performance on GPIC and GPIX last year was like some 20 to 30% total for each of them. I think it was like 20 something for GPIC or GPIX and 30 something for GPIX. So 36 cents here. We can just kind of get a rough look at that right here. So yeah, the 1 year chart, you can see this thing is up 10%, but then you got to keep in mind it also pays roughly about an 8 to 9% dividends. So you're talking nearly 20% total return. And as you guys know, the total return is really the only thing that matters when it comes to dividend investing. That's the most important piece, is how much is your capital appreciation and also your dividend combined as a total. Okay, so we got a recent dividend this month, but that doesn't apply because this is for January. You can see January here. We also bought a little bit here, so that covers the buy as well. That was another buy, albeit we didn't buy that much. But again, we're kind of more focused on CLSK at the moment. Okay, so going down a little bit further here. So we'll go to OARC now. You see the dividend right there. Next one is Ybit. I do still think Ybit has some serious upside. I mean, you got all these whales and institutions and stuff buying Bitcoins, so there's no telling where that could go. There is the Ybit dividend right there. Next one here, Tesla. And we're actually going to talk about Tesla a little bit at the end of this video too, so stick around for that. So 2085 there, you guys can see. And the last one, last but not least, is going to be FEPI. And yes, we will still, at some point, we will still be adding AIPI, just not yet. We haven't forgotten about that. I'm sure you guys are wondering, but so there's the dividend for that one. But no, we haven't forgotten about it. We just, certain things we got to take care of first. Okay, so obviously we have a large cash balance on hand. There are reasons for that, because if for whatever reason these markets pull back, we can buy the dip. Again, you can't buy the dip if you don't have any money set on the side. So something to think about from a long-term perspective. It's a very common strategy for somebody like even of the caliber of Warren Buffett. So, but a lot of whales will do that. They will literally sit on cash until they see exactly the price that they want, and then they will scoop it up and get in. Okay, so let's go over. Well, actually, first, before I do that, so we got the put on CLSK. You guys already know about that. We still have all the shares. Nothing's changed here. So, yeah, the next thing that we're going to go over here is EVGO. So our average, I believe our average is like 1374 on CLSK. Current price is 1130. But considering how much they blew their earnings out of water, I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous how profitable they were. Like, I was expecting it to be good, but not that good. There's no telling what could happen. I mean, the price could literally double in a month from now. I'm not saying I can't guarantee it's going to, but it might. So EVGO, we still have this one. Okay, so we did buy a couple $1,000s last month. Now, there was some recent news saying Trump came out and banned any future funding for electric vehicles or electric vehicle charging, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to take a look into that. If we feel like it's going to be a problem, we'll take the trade off. But as far as I'm concerned on the technicals, I mean, it still looks relatively cheap. We thought the bottom was in for this, but apparently not yet. But sometimes that is the case. You will get some kind of bullish divergence, which means the RSI will move up, but the price will go a little bit lower. So that does typically happen. You can see it's retesting this trend line here. So yeah, we already marked this off, but you guys can see a clear example of a bullish divergence, right? The RSI is going higher on the 4 hour after getting oversold here at $3, and the price, well, it didn't exactly go lower, but it pretty much hit the lows here. So but the price overall is going down while the RSI is going up. That's known as bullish divergence, which means it should do something like this, right? And there is a big gap up here to fill, so there is that too. The only extenuating circumstance is the news on potential electric vehicle charging funding being canceled. So 90% upside just to get to that gap there, and we do still have the trade on. Okay, so let's talk about Tesla real quick, then I'm going to close this out. So we haven't talked about Tesla in a while. Last time we talked about it, really talked about it, I think we talked about it like all the way down here. Where was it we talked about it? I'm trying to remember exactly. So we talked about Tesla, I think, somewhere down here at this $140 range. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this, let me get rid of this. This trend line is off. So we told you guys, we basically said, yeah, shoot, I'm trying to see. I think I might need to, hold on a second. I might need to zoom out here to really see what's going on here. So yeah, we basically told you guys that right, and I can't remember exactly how we came up with this idea, but right around this $140 level on Tesla was where we told you guys, hey, look, Wall Street is likely going to come in and buy here, and that's exactly what they did. And you guys can see that the price just went absolutely stupid. Kind of wish we had bought some back then. I mean, looking back, I mean, look at this insane price move, more than a 3x on a Mag 7 company. Absolutely stupid. So I'm basically coming back again today to tell you guys that it does appear that Tesla is potentially about ready to get oversold. We saw it most recently back in December 2024. The price is a little bit lower now than where it was. There is a potential, maybe some kind of support zone right around here, I would say. So pretty much right in that 330 to 360 level. Does it mean that the price of Tesla can't go lower? It's possible it can go lower. As you guys know, Tesla is very unpredictable, very, very unpredictable stock. It's one of those kind of stocks that's very hard to predict what it's going to do. But based on the nearly oversold signal on the 4 hourly time frame, I would say now, and again, I can't tell you guys what to do, but I would say this might be potentially the time you may want to start looking at Tesla as an option to get into. Again, the hourly chart here has been oversold many times in the last few weeks. And something else I want to point out is that Tesla is currently sitting down about 26% from the previous all-time highs. Tesla is very notorious for having these pretty sizable pullbacks and then getting bought up and going on an absolutely stupid run. Last time we saw it, it was down 32%. This one right here was even more ridiculous. That was the kind of more macro downtrend, minus 50%, and then it went up like 500%. So I just wanted to bring that up to you guys, put that on your radar. If you're looking for Tesla, it looks pretty cheap to me. Of course, you guys can let me know what you think about that below, but we're actually not considering buying Tesla. What we're considering buying instead is TSLL. This is a 2X fund on Tesla. Basically, it's a leveraged fund. So if Tesla is down 25%, this thing's going to be down 50%. The shares are much cheaper at 20 than they are 40. So something to keep in mind. We are hitting a major support level here, as you guys can see. So potential bounce area. So what we're thinking about doing is putting on some cash secured puts to pick some of these shares up on the cheap. Also, another option, you could look at TSLY or TSLP too. TSLP has a little bit less NAV erosion, so to speak. But the only thing that concerns me about TSLP now is the dividend's much higher than where it was before. I would have preferred that it was smaller like it was before, but it's their fund. They can do what they want with it. So if you don't care about that, you care about the income, maybe something to look at. You can see it's oversold here on the 4 hour as well. Now, if I go over here to Robinhood real quick before we close this out, I'm going to show you guys this. So, Last time we said that TSLL was cheap, it was at like $9, and we are like, "Oh yeah, it's cheap," and then we didn't buy any, and then it went up a 4x. So, uh, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to go up like a guarantee that it's going to go up or anything, but it does look pretty cheap right now. So, anyways, if we just throw on one contract of a cash secured put with a delta of roughly about 30, which is relatively safe, I mean, we would produce about $200 a month of options premium just on one contract. So, something we're taking a look at throwing on tomorrow, as well as potentially trying to scoop up some more CLSK until it eventually does pop, because we still think CLSK is going to head to $20 to $25, maybe even 30. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace. Oh, and one last thing. Right before I forget, yeah. So let's see, 39. Almost forgot to give you guys the total here. So 412, 21, and 1634.06. Okay, so 2,112.97. All right. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.